When the sun stopped in the sky, life continued as normal. Then the stone-armored Dredge reappeared, ancient foes from the far northern reaches, and the world was thrown into chaos. Giant Varl defenders were slaughtered, their strongholds destroyed. Now Hakon is the Varl king and protects who is left of his race. Rook, a humble hunter and father of Alette, found himself leading frightened clansmen towards safety. His caravan crossed paths with Juno and Eyvind, two of the mysterious spellweavers known as Menders, who know something about the massive, mountain-breaking serpent on the loose. In Borsgard, a town under the protection of the mercenary leader Bolverk, both Varl and humans stood against a Dredge general, the immortal Sunder, known as Bellower. Juno devised a way to stop Bellower, but it cost the life of one held dear. The saga continues.
And with that recap done, welcome everyone back to the Banner Saga Let's Stream. Last time in our trilogy, we finished up the first game. As it said, Bellower had been defeated and the people saved, at the cost of the life of Rook, the protagonist from the last game. Well, all said and done, things are still continuing, and we've got to continue our trek despite the losses. So, with this image there signaling what's going to happen later, let's head into a game. Now, we could pick between them if we didn't have a save file, but since we do, we click on it and we get our next title.
Tíminn líður áfram, eins og straumþung á sem fleytir okkur áfram. Time continues washing over us, moment after moment, like waves on a coast. Some more fierce, more violent than others. So few of my kind, the giant war, remain alive. Even so, I find myself wondering if humans, while able to bear children, suffer more for the loss of loved ones. Several weeks have passed since we slew the Sunder known as Bellower, but the chaos of the world did not wither as we hoped. The world is breaking. We sail aboard hastily crafted ships for the safety of Arberain, the human capital. But the river curses us with a clear view of the Dredge, assaulting another hopeless village.
Move away from those glowing rocks! This one's mine! No! No! To the depths with you! Well, We'll handle the rest. Pull back. My thanks, strangers. Better to let him keep fighting. And welcome to the game's tutorial that we have to go through again. So, I'll basically discuss essentially a couple of things. This tutorial would be the same if we had saved Rook, but once we finish it, instead of basically wrapping up the encounter, we'd have a secondary fight to do with only Rook against several of the largest, most powerful Dredge. This is basically a fight that you can only barely win if you're very skilled, and I know for a fact that I would be hosed if I tried. It is interesting to show the differences between just how far Rook has kind of gone into despair over the loss of Alette, though. And interesting, at least you see here, borrow kids. Blah, Dredge kids. I am stoop. There's also a Leo who I'll basically just sum up as the game's bard. Why? Because no man can go into combat with a tiny shield, a knife, and a frickin' harp on his back and not be considered a bard. The villagers' reactions range from terrified by the foes to awestruck at your arrival. Their leader approaches and bows in front of Ivor. Your timing makes me think the gods have returned. Please, He stops when Ivor nods his head towards you. The man peers under your hood. Yeah, best not to treat Ivor like a leader. He doesn't like that. A girl leads those who saved us from those things? She ordered us to land, and those things are Dredge, like the ones you probably heard about as a kid. Between losing so many clansmen and this, I feel I'm not myself. I thank you, child. He whips his cloak back with a flourish. I am Leo, the Skald. And your name? Alette, and this is Ivor. Ah, names destined for history. Sounds like the brave poet is going to use us in a few proper verses. I'll even make them rhyme, given the time. His smile seems genuine, as much as the concern that follows. Do you have any idea what might be causing the deep rumbling underfoot? Deep rumbling? Could be the giant serpent again. The serpent in the sun, Radomir? I'm no holy man, but joking about dead gods feels wrong. I don't think the sun serpent would break mountains and try to swallow us all. Who can say what the sun stopped in the sky like it is? Leo looks skeptical. Tell me, did you just come from Borsgard? We heard rumor of the Sunder Bellower was sacking the town. We killed Bellower. I'd say that's debatable, but then again, only Rook and Juno know the truth, so as far as they're concerned, well, Bellower is dead. Leo pauses and looks to Ivor, who confirms your statement with a nod. History indeed! Sunder Slayers here among us! Depths! There's so many questions to ask! They'll have to wait until we're all safely back in the longships and leaving this place. The Skald nods his understanding, but another question creases his brow. Leave? Not to sound ungrateful, but this place... It's all we have. It's our home. I felt the same when Skogir was overrun. Except we had the sense to leave while we were able. But my children, you don't understand. I know exactly what it means to be a child stripped from your home and family. Leo takes a step back before lowering his head. Packing and tending to our dead will take some time, but I'll have everyone on the ship soon. You watch Leo rejoin his family. Moves his hand too much when he talks. It's unsettling. That is basically the summary of Mathmouth's Doctor Who. Well, the Doctor. Cricket. You smile, but say nothing. People thinking we're heroes now? The world is breaking in more ways than one. It's not the first time you've been called a hero, Ingvar. Ivor, your father's closest friend, looks unamused. He is one of the giants known as Varl, and has fought Dredge in the Northern Winters. Personally killed one of their generals, the Sunder Rays, and lost his arm to the Sunder Bellower. Your humor reminds me of your father's, since we're talking about things we'd rather avoid. Ow! I just keep hoping I'll wake and see my dad again. Yeah, I keep thinking this is one of Rook's pranks, like when he made your mother think he had the plague. How the hell did that happen? Ivor's smile fades when he sees your face. Sorry, I'm sure thinking about losing one parent is hard enough. I like hearing how they were together. Happy humans, I used to call them. She made him smile, he made her laugh. You look so much like her when you smile. The entire caravan seems to enjoy it too. That could be creepy on several levels. He walks toward the village, leaving you alone with your thoughts. So yeah, things are still kind of hitting the fan. But given we picked up the equivalent of a bard optimist, I think we have our chances going well. Oh, who am I kidding? We are fucked. The traveling merchants are surprisingly well stocked. Ubin, the old varl, the scrivener, says, since Borisgard, our numbers have grown. People have scavenged for food, and eaten it too. Regardless, we'll need plenty of supplies considering our destination. What kind of supplies? Stuff like food and mead for the trip. The merchants have got a few interesting items as well, but folks can't eat those in lean times. You'll have to choose wisely. Even your renown will only stretch so far. I love how they never mention food, water. It's always frickin' mead. You are all dehydrated, aren't you? Thanks, Ubin. Of course, he says. Oh, almost forgot. There's something ruffling the feathers of the ravens, the mercenaries who followed us from Borisgard. Chat with their leader, Bulwark, but be careful. He's not like other Varl. Ah! Ah! Why this item? Why do you taunt me? +1 to all talents. Fuck you, game. And we have 3 characters we can talk to. Let's start with Gil and the fact that it's a surprise occasion he's even alive right now. You find Egil, or Gil, engage in a conversation with Prince Ludin and wait to approach. I figured it wouldn't hurt to ask. I didn't know there were so many rules on how to ask. But now you do. My father clearly needs to enforce customs across the backlands of his kingdom. Ludin being as cheerful as ever there. Oh, out here where we earn a name for ourselves instead of being born with a title? Damn, Egil throwing shade. Ludin, surprised by the comment, sees you standing nearby. He straightens his posture. Your words are getting the better of you. I'll attempt to forget what you just said. The prince nods to you and walks away. I'm guessing he just didn't want to throw hands with Egil. Or get his face hit by the metal shield, I don't know, either one. What was that all about? Gil looks shocked to see you. Nothing, just... Becoming a Kingsguard requires more than skill. You need a name. Kingsguard? You're looking forward to harboring, aren't you? Just thinking. About the future, you know? He suddenly looks concerned. Alette, listen, I'm sorry for not fighting by your side during the attack. You don't need... No, I do. I promised your father I'd always protect you. Things happen so fast. Then why weren't you by my side? A flush brightens his cheeks. My shield, I jumped from the ship and... Well, it doesn't float. At all. So you mean to tell me you took a metal shield, jumped into the water, and sunk like a brick, and that's why you missed the fight? I don't know why, but that is hilarious. Let's just smile. His face reddens further. Someone's got a crush. I feel like such an idiot. Quit beating yourself up, Gil, and let's keep the shield thing just between us. And probably like the 20 people who saw it happen. Gil relaxes a bit and nods. Yeah, good idea. Thanks. I just love the fact that he didn't consider what was going to happen in that situation until after he dive-bombed into the water and sunk. Oddleaf, a friend and mentor, is demonstrating fletching an arrow to a few people as you approach. Give us a moment, will you? The group walks away as Oddleaf stands and wipes loose feathers from her tunic. Those people owe you their lives. Your decision to stop here saved every one of them. Well, our clansmen all agreed, don't be naive. Saving people is what you do, what your father did. Those under this banner agreed because they followed you. Her tone is forceful, and you almost smile to break the tension. Almost. Alette, they respected Rook, and that respect is passed to you. But give them any reason to doubt you, and it'll vanish. But I really don't know what I'm doing. Neither did your father, not always. But the caravan saw him as confident and competent. Didn't. Clearly, if you're putting a guy with no leadership skills in charge, something is going wrong. Yeah, but why? How? Be decisive. For now, while you're proving yourself, keep your emotions private. Just my advice. She stares at you for a drawn-out moment before nodding. Her demeanor softens. I wanted to discuss the clansmen. They're good at scavenging for food, and the more we have, the more food they'll find. Training some of them to fight will help keep the others safe, but it takes time, and I'm not sure we have much of that to spare. As our leader, you're expected to decide how many fight and how many look for food. I'll keep that in mind. Thanks, Odd. You turn to leave, but Oddleaf stops you. She grabs you into a tight hug. Rook had a way of making it easy for all of us to be stronger. Her words seem to be as much for her as they are for you. Yeah, spoiler, the game might have hinted at this before, but Game 2 kind of shows that Oddleaf and Rook could have hooked up. Just by the time they could have officially done it, Alette would have been dead. Whoops. And yeah, mention's a new mechanic for this game. Clansmen won't just be there, they'll actually gather supplies for you after a certain amount of time. Which is a freaking godsend. Also, supplies aren't nearly as strict in this game, so that's a plus. The Varro mercenary leader, Bolverk, and a rather large female fighter are talking to Juno, a member of the Spellweaving Vendors Council. Bolverk looks annoyed. Nothing unusual. There is no haggling on this. You already accepted the offer in Borisgard. Get this one to do it. Get me to do what? If Juno is surprised by your presence, it doesn't show. She continues to stare straight at the Varro. Alette is seeing to the survival of this caravan, something I doubt you care to do. She's a little small for such a big role, isn't she? We could take a poke at her insecurities, but don't talk to me like I'm not here. Yeah, I'm not an asshole. You're right. Sorry for being rude. Unfortunately, this is a private matter. Her look at Bolverk says she expects him to keep it private. Ivan needs help with healing the wounded, but we should leave soon. See Hakon at the dock when you're ready. Juno leaves without another word. Fane Valka. Yeah, Fane means fuck in this game at the most, if you haven't caught on. One of these days, Claw and Fang will get thirsty for Spellweaver blood. Claw and Fang? His axes. The large axe heads are polished, the blades sharp, and the cheeks scarred from plenty of use. But it's the great handles that stand out. They're unlike anything you've seen before. So you're leading this rabble now? Only to Arborang, then it's King Meinolf's job. Like he's got any answer of this. He'll royally piss himself if he ever saw Dredge. The pig-tailed fighter laughs. What's your name? I'm Folka, a shield maiden in charge of keeping the ravens in line. Bulver gives him her stern look, but she doesn't back down. I already know who you are, chieftain. I heard there's a problem I should know about? The Varl seems to grow taller and more wild as he takes a step towards you. You stop to save every Fane idiot along the river. Stopping to save every Fane idiot along the river will get us all killed. Makes more sense to only stop the ships when we need supply. Oh, shit, that wasn't him. Makes more sense to only stop the ships when we need supplies. And get rid of half of these useless people, too. They're slowing us down. The river dictates our speed on the ships. You got rowers, use them. I'd hate for an accident to happen out on the water. Bulwark snorts and turns his attention to a large sealed cart behind him. His bear-cloaked back indicates the conversation is over. Okay, Bjorn, fucking side. That was a horrible way to try to reference the series Vikings. I did not think that through. The wooden planks of the well-used dock creak as you walk across them. Hakon, a warrior recently acknowledged as king of the Varro, paces on the dock. Not sure I was made for this, he says as you approach. Commanding in battle is one thing, but deciding how many chickens we need to bring? I'm just as lost as you are on this. Never thought I'd have something in common with a human girl, he says, smiling. But you still have to prove to your people a girl can lead. I don't envy you in that battle. He looks around and shrugs. Looks like we're ready. So let's sail. After lighting the funeral pyre, the last villagers find seats on your rickety longships built of scrap wood scavenged and boards guard. The ravens find space around a large cart on their black-sailed vessel, or slowly move all the boats on the river's current. 99 barrels of beer on the wall, meat on the wall, 99 barrels of mead. You take one down, pass it around, 99 barrels of meat on the wall. Fuck. The complaints of a few are growing. What does she really know about getting us to Arborang safely? The smith says. We others chime in with agreement. Her father was something else, but her? She should be looking for a husband, not telling me what to do. Some laugh, others encourage him. Audley looks at the group of men before turning to you. She seems interested to hear your response. We could just boot the fuckers off our boat, but my father was great. I hope to be returned as fondly. That just boosts morale. To Rook, someone shouts, and to his blood flowing through Alette. The caravan joins in cheering, drowning out the complaints of the smith and his men. Audley gives you a faint smile. Yeah, not much to say. We're just kind of flowing now. Aleo looks ill. At least it's not the brackish sea, he whispers to himself as he steps around rowers and baggage to speak to you. I'm not sure we were all built for aquatic voyages, he says, and I hear Arborang is quite the distance away. My people could use a few hours rest on solid ground. Listen, if it's about the baggage, I did not decide to bring my emotional support bear onto the boat. The hopeful looks from others sway you and your signal for the and you signal for the ships to make land. Would you mind telling me why the capital is our destination? Leo asks. Arborang's walls had never been breached. Ah, of course. The growing walls should certainly keep the Dredge army at bay. Shouldn't they? You say nothing. The answer, I don't fucking know. Dredge, he says, almost in awe. Man and Varl's storied foe from oh so ever long ago. But they're real, and here. How have they made it so far south? His glance at the Varl is met with both anger and shame. Dude, not their fault their fucking city got burned to ground in a scorched earth. The longship rocks gently and Scald grabs a rope to steady himself. If only we had the fabled horses to ride upon. We'd outpace the Dredge and be on sound footing. His dramatized misery is almost as amusing as his thanks when he steps back into dry land. If you kind of forgot, I don't blame you. Yeah. The horseborn who are centaurs killed all the normal horses. Yeah, that's a thing that happened. Oh, we're booted onto the map because we have to actually forcibly explore this time. But we'll read some of the little lore things here. Borisgard, an ancient and senile mess of a city that can't remember whether it wants to sell you something or steal everything you've got. While Ormsdaler grew early into an important hub of trade, its twin city Borisgard became the place to buy things no one else was willing to hawk. It's greatly supported by the potent items harvested in Rainovic and Tistel, and plagued by huge disparities between the extremely rich and the suffering poor. Name's legit. Ormsdaler. As Strom led some of the first men east, Ormsdaler was one of the most important places they settled, nestled in the crook where the Ormsdal River splits. If Borisgard and Ormsdaler were twins, Ormsdaler would be the righteous brother trying to keep his evil twin from hurting anyone else. And yeah, the ultimate goal of us, get to Arborang, because it's the farthest part of the friggin' map where shit is coming down from. Well, beside this area, but I don't think anyone's going down there. From humble beginnings to eventual seat of power for the king, Arborang is the most populated and contested city throughout the human lands. Its towering obsidian walls have been pulled from the depths by the weaving power of the Menders. As each new generation of residents builds another ring of walls, the city continues to grow larger, more indulgent, and more dangerous. Is this what's a... Yeah, here it is. Plains of Slaughter. The early days of the Horseborn are a tragic tale indeed. No tale more so than that of the Plains of Slaughter, where, furious at man's treatment of horses and conflicted emotions about their own relationship to the beast, stole and slaughtered the horses wholesale in defiance. As time passed, they would deeply regret the decision and would draw further into Horseborn territories, cutting themselves off from other intelligent races completely. Yeah, this is the logistics of what happens when you put centaurs and horses in the same location. You're probably just going to confuse everyone more than anything. Oh yeah, this is funny. Trigvi. Trigvi pulls a leaf out of your hair. The strange and awfully prophetic spearman lived near you in Skogir and has been traveling with you all along. It's hard to push a spear through a tree. Easier to turn the tree into another spear. Is this supposed to mean something? You, all these people, your father, you understand? No. He looks shocked. Just be the tree, okay? Before you can respond, Trigby starts singing and dancing away. Yellow and blue will lie to you, lie to you, lie to you. What makes the conversation funny? If you didn't have Trigby beforehand in the first game, he will still appear here, out of thin air. When you go to talk to him, you will question where he showed up with, to which he will respond, you would know why I'm here if you supported me earlier, referencing the fact that he was a pre-order character in the last game. The fact that that's the explanation for why he shows up, just out of nowhere, complaining that you would know who he is if you actually supported the games before, is hilarious. And this is why I consider Leo a bard, on top of the fact that his class is literally poet. And he has one of the best passive abilities in the game. Scout Song. This character adds +1 willpower to all allies if standing within 1 tile of an ally who delivers a killing blow. Yeah, all of them. Anywhere on the map, as long as the person who gets a kill is in proximity to him. That is a friggin' powerful attack. Thankfully, the game has also lowered how much it takes to promote a unit, so it's not based on 5, 10s, 15s, and 20s anymore. It is still a dick to try kick in the nuts to try to get all your shit on people, but it is a little easier now. Just to equip some units, let's get this Dragonstone on Eric, just so it doesn't go to waste. And this on Mogir, I guess. Two men approach you when no one else is around. One is wearing a wolf cloak and missing a hand. The other is a guard with gray hair shoved into a helmet. Oh boy. This is Rugga. Probably the biggest douchebag in all these games. Considering that the list of douchebags and dicks you can meet, that's a lot. Finally, a moment alone with my new leader. Is there something you need? Seems I should be asking you that. I'm Rugga, the governor of Borsgard. Why am I just now meeting you? With the chaos of the siege and the flight from Borsgard, this has been my first chance to meet and congratulate you. Your command so far has been impressive. The guard nods his agreement, but says nothing. So far? Should I be expecting trouble? I'm hoping you already know the answer to that. I'm simply here to offer my help before the trouble arrives. What help can you provide? You've never been to Arborang before, right? I'd never left Skelgir before all this. A pretty girl rarely needs to leave her village. I'm sure men were already offering to provide for you. Yeah, not only is he a sexist dick, compared to how if Rook lives as long, Rugga only does not take Alette seriously as his lead, as what he perceives as leader. Then again, he's a guy who's literally thinks of himself as the leader of everyone, so he can go fuck himself. But I'm from Arborang. It's different than anything you can imagine. Different how? It's a seat of power. Twice as many people as Borisgard, all clawing to get closer to the king. It's a sight, but it'll probably scare you. Why did you leave? Honestly, there was a better chance for power somewhere else. Borisgard needed a strong governor. And now? Now, that's all gone, and I see you, fresh meat, heading towards a bear's cave. You might become a better leader than anyone before you, but no one here besides me knows what you need to survive in Arborang. Yeah, spoiler, him getting sent to Borisgard was less him leaving on his choice, and more he got banished there after he fucked up hard. You're very sure of yourself. Becoming governor requires boldness. You'll need a man like me to teach you. He smiles, and with emotion, he and his guard depart. Seriously, keep his douchebaggery in mind. That's literally his entire character. Also, he has a hidden thing in this game called his decision. Later on in the game, this is a decision that will be between if he's actually not going to literally stab you in the back. Ahead, driftwood is collected, creating an impressive barrier for the longships. Alternatively, going ashore is its own risk for whatever might be lurking in the trees. Let's bank the ships and set all the axemen to chopping. Once on land, Ivor, Hakon, and anyone else with an axe are attacking waves that would block it. Thudding sounds fill the air. Moments later, Rugga says, "Damn, we've got company." As Dredge approach from the woods, you realize you'll have to hold them off until the axemen are finished. Of course our morale went down the second we need it. So yeah, let's, for the sake of combat, just trying to think. I don't remember making Nid a level 4 Bowmaster, only a level 3. Game, you fucking with me? Eggle, Chris. Sure. Ah, damn it, I forgot to equip a Leo with something. Ah, crud, I'm gonna load a bit. The reason is, again, difficulty is and combat difficulty is honestly not a big deal in this game, so it's not like we have to really strengthen the fact that, oh, we're on the hard difficulty or anything. Plus, I don't want to have all my fighters injured every time I do a stupid decision in a game. I don't care about the consequences. They can't stop me. Okay, I just wanted to check there just to see if the game didn't decide to screw with me. Position that here. Move up a little bit. Move Krumir up a bit. Get that debris clear! Hurry! This motherfucker is just watching! God damn it, man, you're supposed to be chopping the tree. Stop watching! Take the fight! You're like those guys on the group project who don't actually do any work but still try to claim credit. Trick V, poke, do the poke. Oh, you got a crit, that's cool. Ah, cred, we're gonna need to kill that one fast. You team killing bastard! Yeah, that's not good. You hear the axeman cheer as the blockage of wood breaks up and disappears down the river, but the Dredge have regrouped. One of them looks especially menacing. The fighters around you are tired, but could buy everyone else enough time to safely board the ships. Let's stand our ground. We'll join the others when we finish our job here, you say. Those around you laugh and brace for another round of battle. The reason? Yeah, we'll lose a couple of people and supplies if we don't help. So, in the words of Gandalf the Grey during Minas Tirith, fight to the last! You fool. You fool. Just get the armor break off. Drumir, the last thing you can do before you go down is take away all this mofo's armor. Like, literally all of it be gone. Why did he do that? I don't even think that's the easy difficulty. I think the game is just dumb. Hopefully we can demonstrate Leo's ability here. Oh, there it goes. Yep, everyone gets willpower. I also love the way it sounds when he says something. Mostly because I made up dumb sentences for it at points. Like that, it always sounds like, look at all these fucks that I do not give. Maybe that's only funny for me, I don't know. No, probably is. My sense of humor is a dead... It's just a dead something, that's all I'll say. Poke! Hang it. Or willpower. Yeah, we're gonna be seeing that a lot during this game, probably. Like right here. I keep gaining more willpower every time I spend it. You cannot stop me. Yeah, that's why I say this. He has a pretty broken ability, because all that willpower gain is broken as shit. Fuck you, Dredge. Why are we stopping like 2 feet after it? We might make it down the river to the capital without any more trouble. You look at Ivor, surprised by his optimism, and I might sprout wings and start flying. Would that make up for your missing arm? Hey, well, I get to make the jokes about losing my arm, not you. I suppose that's fair. So, what are you worried about now? I think you should make use of this trainer's tent that we haul around everywhere. You mean the training tent that wasn't really useful in the first game? You can't hesitate anymore when it comes to killing others, not when it comes to protecting your own. Let's bank the ships and make sure you're ready to by challenging your skills. Yeah, in a weird move, the tent actually now does something. You can gain stuff like renown by doing the challenges set up, which is a freaking godsend considering that last time there was no actual benefit from doing that kind of stuff. Oh, hey, Ivan wants to talk. You watch him for a moment as Ivan, Juno's apprentice and the mender found nearly dead at Ridgehorn, moves his staff in a complex pattern, repairing some armor. Not a bad festival trick, right? Care to give it a try? This is an event that could only proc for Alette, where if you take the right choices, she can actually learn the mending skill that Ivan has, which is really useful. Bending? Me? I think I said exactly the same thing the first time a mentor asked me to try. I thought you had to be born under a blood moon or be from a certain clan. It certainly helps if you sucker from a she-wolf as a babe. Ivan smiles. Anyone can be a mender, but the training can be difficult. I'm not sure I like the way that sounds. You've already completed many of the lessons, tending to wounds, endurance trials, focus amid distractions. It comes naturally to you. Then what would I have to do if I said yes? You'd have to practice day and night. Ivan looks up towards the unmoving sun. You'd have to practice quite a bit. That is probably one of my favorite lines in the whole trilogy. Just the remembrance, oh yeah, no more night. It wouldn't be easy. It might not even be popular with the clansmen. They're a bit skittish around Juno and me. You're not making it sound great. I've never been much of a recruiter, but mending has its advantages, both on and off the battlefield. Like using lightning to bring down an ancient viral bridge? Ivan grins and picks up the armor. Hopefully not. Anyway, roll it over and we'll talk about it again. I've got to check on the fighter who was wearing this. Now let's actually do the training. Well, come on in, let's have a look at you. Sven, the trainer says. After a quick assessment, he says, Yep, looks like you could stand to learn a few things. I got 5 challenges for you, and if you finish them all before we get to Arborang, well, I'll let everyone know you've impressed me. Ha! Sven's laughter is full of phlegm, probably coating everyone in the room with a shower of water. Let's start with a few of the basics. You think about what he's saying. You feel up to the challenge? I'm ready. Then we begin! I don't know why I made him a southerner, but fuck it. And yeah, he has 5 challenges, all of which we can do at points during the game. And this is my least favorite due to the fact that it's kind of annoying to do. So, what we have to do is form a shield wall, which is easy, use heavy impact to deal 3 enemies at once, aka use Hakon's natural thing to hit proc 3 people with getting splash damage on top, damage 2 other enemies on top of who we hit, and kill an enemy using puncture, meaning that we have to damage someone's armor and let the archer kill them. That one's already done, but now we just need to make sure some of this stuff can actually be accomplished, because I found this can be kind of annoying. Let's just get the puncture out of the way. See the problem? Now they're not bunched up and I need to friggin' adjust everything. And Khan might be dead soon. Shit. Yeah, see, none of them are moving. So let's just end training, because I really don't want to have to go through that. Though we are going to repeat it in a second. There's no real thing that's bad for failing it. You just need... All it really failing does is just tell you have to do it again. Just need to use the strategy I usually do, I think since I screwed it up. Let's see if this works. Hopefully it does. Okay, this should do it. And now we can puncture. There we go. That's how it's supposed to be done. Let's try. Let's see. I think there's another one we can do already. So you know enough not to trip over your own weapon. Well, that's hardly impressive, Sven says. Show me you can thread the needle with that bow. Yeah, basically this is just to demonstrate the thread the needle ability. And we've already accomplished it by... Oh, for frick's sake! Of course it'd be one tile off. Alright, you know what? This should work. There, fuck you. I think that's all we can do for now. Yeah. So, let's just level some people up now that we actually have the ability to do so. Ivor... You look at all the food freshly placed in the supply carts. What's all this about? You ask Godleaf. The clansmen are trying to help as much as possible now, she says. Whenever they can, they'll forage for nuts and berries, or fish and hunt. She hands you a piece of fruit. They may not know how to fight, but they can keep us alive by keeping us fed. Lazy bastards should have been doing that long ago. Time on the cramped longship is proving too much for the children. They're climbing ropes, interrupting rowers, and constantly leaning over the side to touch the water. Some Varl and clansmen look annoyed. This event can technically go a little bad, I think, or just neutral. But let's do the good one. Keep your kids by your side. We're at war until Arboran. Some others give you irritated glances, while a few Varl smile in your direction. Regardless, there is no denying the children are safer by their sides. Oh shit, we're gonna meet Karen. Excuse me? My child is allowed to go touch that dangerous thing, and it's not allowed to hurt him or I'll sue! I apologize to everyone who heard that. A desperate-looking lot of adults and a Varl stand on the shoreline, waving you down. They probably look similar to going anywhere with Ivor. You probably look similarly going anywhere with Ivor. They look hungry, but can they be trusted? This is a hard one to do, but ultimately there's not much that can change, so let's just supplies and I'm gonna keep note. Taking more people on the boats at any point will actually cause bad stuff to happen. Your clansmen are glad to share some supplies. A few on the shore beg to join you, but they quickly fall silent, gratefully filling their mouths with food. The Varl remains both motionless and expressionless, quietly watching as you pass. I don't even think taking that specific Varl does anything. The river suddenly gets rough and the water is moving much faster. Rowers try their best to avoid rocks, but the long ships weren't built for such maneuvers. Each impact is jarring. The ships rock and a few oars snap between stones and each other. But remarkably, the fleet survives with only minor damage. As the river calms, several parents thank you for reminding them to keep their children close. Yay, no kids died. Smoke from a village catches everyone's attention, and the longships begin to slow. I doubt that these scraps of wood we're floating on can hold on much longer, Ivor says. You feel the governor's gaze on you, and he slowly shakes his head. In a weird way, Rugga is right. Going to this village will result in you actually getting mugged by its inhabitants. They will take your supplies and I think kill people, so ignore the village and head downriver. The other ships follow your lead, while nearly everyone averts their eyes from the smoking village. Rugga looks impressed. Don't look impressed at me, I didn't do it for you! A large clump of hazelnut trees looks like a good place for clansmen to stretch their legs and gather their supplies. Once on land, the children laugh while kicking around leather-wrapped balls of rags. You notice the Varl on the edge of the clearing silently staring into the woods. He's watching a lone Dredge grunt stalk a squirrel. Might be 100 of them in these woods. The Varl whispers so loud enough to scare the squirrel and alert the grunt. It looks at you and the Varl before slowly backing up. That Dredge knows how foobar he is. Watch the Dredge. Track it if possible. The grunt runs away. You silently follow, but stop when you discover a clearing with a few small animal bones lying around. Meager meals for one. Near the bones stands a tiny statue of a dragon, and terror courses through your spine. You want to get away from it. Frick your curses. Fight your fear to take the statue. Each step towards the statue adds to your doubt until your hand wraps around it. You realize you've been holding your breath and sigh with relief. Back in the ship, the clansmen discuss your whole experience along with all the nuts they gathered. Smiles appear on most faces. Okay, if any one of you complains about a nut allergy, I swear to God.
Carved rock on a vacant island.
Speaking of God, here's a godstone.
Azalai's godstone almost looks lonely.
Well, whoever built it did. Well, the god that built it clearly dumped it in the middle of a river, so of course it's lonely. She's even more beautiful than the songs say. Really? Because she looks depressed as fuck. The clansmen and Varl are admiring the godstone when you notice some are missing. It's Bulwark and his ravens, Alette says. They looked rather upset by my music and all the singing, he shrugs. If they'd rather hang around that large cart instead of joining us, I won't take it personally. But come closer, let me introduce you to Asalai, the god of streaming waters. She's the curve of every river, a guide for those... Sorry I have to stop, it sounds like my sound crashed. A guide for those of us traveling unfamiliar lands. The Skald runs a finger over small etchings in the stone. Inscriptions from all those who were lost, but found a way back home with their help. Let's listen to more of his tale. Some say her stone shows the struggle of leaving the familiar to see what's over the next hill. Alette looks at the ropes tied around parts of her and smiles. Before the gods died, her stone supposedly stood tall and moved a few steps every year. So people are always trying to make sure she stays put. Alette looks at you, grinning. Have you the strength to hold her? Or a gift with which to entice her? Let's talk and see what happens. You wrap your hands around one of the larger ropes and begin to pull. It feels as pointless as expected, and Asalai's godstone does not budge. Suddenly, you're joined by Hakon and Ivar, who lend their great strength. Others quickly join until the rope snaps, and everyone sprawls into a massive heap. You return to where the clansmen have set up camp and see someone, a woman in torn robes, slip from your tent. She blends in with the other families, and after making sure nothing was amiss in your tent, you let it go. Interesting. Oh yeah, training. We can actually turn clansmen into fighters, but it means less people we have. For the sake of numbers, 100 will do. Make it happen. The two Varl look deep in conversation, but Ivar catches your eye and waves you over. So they've all armed themselves and are running from something, but what? Hakon's becoming a Dredge scholar, trying to understand the motivations of our enemy. It's just strange that we never seen their women fight until recently. Good thing too, we might have lost the Great Wars. You think about what to say. What happened back then? A great day of killing on both sides. Imagine waking up to Dredge attacks every night. Back then, the sun actually set. You'd wake up to a sound and see nothing but glowing eyes around you. Ingvar probably told you we never got close to pushing them back to the depths they call home. Actually, Ivar's never said much about the past. Oh? Ivar says nothing, but holds Hakon's stare. Well, he's probably got more stories than you could hear in your short lifetime. Juno says there's a darkness coming. But what Valkas say and mean aren't always the same. They speak in riddles and prophecy. Still, it might explain why the Dredge are everywhere, like someone kicked an anthill. Maybe whatever's coming hit them first. Or maybe it's just a new tactic for a new war. If they've learned to crack the ground and call a giant serpent, then we're all dead and just don't know it yet. This is an interesting question. Has anyone ever talked to Dredge? Both Varl look at each other. There are rumors that some tried and have been killed in the process. A lot of nonsense. Skull tales about the sound of Dredge's voice making your skin fall off. So there's been no communication with the enemy? Is that normal? We were too busy killing to worry about a fireside chat. Besides, they only ever make warbling noises. I guess if anyone's ever talked to them, it'd be the Valka. Well, good luck getting them to give you a straight answer. I'll leave you two to figure out the big issues. You should know the clansmen have been talking about us killing women and children, Dredge or not. It's not sitting well with everyone, but it's probably the way it should be. I say if it's us or them, we make sure we're still standing. I'm bothered more by your decision to destroy Irontoft's bridge. Oh, god damn it. Let it go, Hakon. It was the best decision at the time. To collapse a bridge that cost thousands of our lives to build? If it weren't for your damn horns, Ingvar, I'd swear you were an overgrown human. The two giants begin trading insults, and you step away, letting them vent. Yeah, that's gonna be a thing all Varl are pissed off for, even if it was the best case scenario.
It's hard to believe we made it across that chasm. Now we find what's left of Ormsdalur. Once a great trade town at the fork of the Ormsá River. How many lives must have been lost here?
be missing more than your horns. Stand down, you son of a yacht!